Hey guys, I'm here today with my top 5 favorite RPGs of all time. I have two rules for this video, just two. Rule number one is I'm not doing Final Fantasy VII. It won't be included in my list. Everybody who does it has 7 in spot number 1 or 2. If I included it, 7 would take my number 1 spot. But because it's mentioned by everybody else, because everybody knows 7, I don't feel it's necessary for me to include it, and it frees up a spot for me to give to another game. Rule number 2. If there is most of your RPGs are series. Final Fantasy, Zelda, Castlevania, they all have multiple games in the franchise. So for anything like that, I will be picking one game from the franchise and no others. So I won't be duplicating franchises. And with that said, my number 5 pick, this one is online only. There's one online and one mobile RPG. My number 5 is the online one. R2games.com has a game called Crystal Saga. I've been playing it for years. It's been a while since I've been on, but every time I get on there, people still know me. There's a chat function that you can use. The game is really easy to level up and do your quests. It's not as easy to upgrade some of your character's features. There is an option to pay actual money to get crystals and upgrade. I don't do that mostly because, well, two reasons. Number one, I can't afford to. Number two, I would rather work for it. So number 4 is my mobile game. That one is Dragon Soul. I love that game. It's a whole lot of fun to play. Unlocking and upgrading heroes is just a lot of fun. I'm playing that game every day and doing all my quests, and that one has a chat function too. You can join a guild. Just all kinds of features on that. If you haven't played it and you're into RPGs, check it out. It's a whole lot of fun to do. So, on to number 3. Number 3 is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I still enjoy this game when I have the chance to play it. Part of it is sentimental. The first console that I owned personally was a Nintendo 64. The first game that we had for it was Ocarina of Time. But it was just a fun game to play. It had great story. All of the Zeldas have great stories for them that I've played. There's one or two that I haven't ever played. Majora's Mask and Wind Walker. I have not played those two. But that was only because I never had them. So on to number 2. Number 2 is my Final Fantasy pick. It's a different battle style from the rest. It's an older one, but it was a game that I really enjoyed, and that was Final Fantasy Tactics. The battlefield, your battles were more of a chessboard kind of thing. You had to choose where to move your characters in order to be able to battle against the others. There were a lot of jobs that you could change your character to, and then you had to master the job or the the abilities of that job. And that was just awesome. It was really in depth with what skills you could give your characters. So I loved that part of it. And the storyline is also really awesome too. Number one for me was Nocturne. I love that game. I still play that game when I can. And the story is just awesome. This story is... The story is the real reason that Nocturne takes my number one spot. Because Final Fantasy Tactics, any of the Final Fantasies, any of the Zeldas, any of the Castlevanias, they're a whole lot of fun to play, but they don't have a storyline that you go, hey, I wonder if that were possibly real. To note at this point, I have not played any Sword Art Online game. That's another one that would probably catch my attention because from the anime, I know so many people who go, I kind of wish something like that would really happen. And that's my basis for Nocturne being number one, is it makes me wonder what I would do if these events happen to me in real life. It's based in Tokyo. But it being based there doesn't mean that if it happened, it couldn't happen to me. So there is an apocalyptic event that happens right at the beginning, and this allows demons to walk the earth. And I've never made it to the end of this, so I don't know who the child is. I'm assuming he's Satan in another form. But they turn your character into a half demon. And they give you demonic powers. You can go around collecting and fusing demons. That's the point of the whole game, is to collect demons, get them on your team, upgrade them, and fuse to make other demons. And that's just a whole lot of fun. I love going to the temple where you can fuse and just seeing what I can make with the stuff that I have. And the fact that it's something that maybe just possibly could actually happen in real life, I love that part of the storyline, and the way that it makes me go, what would I do if this happened to me for real? So even though it's the only RPG, like console RPG from my list that I didn't finish, I finished Tactics multiple times. I finished Ocarina of Time multiple times. Crystal Saga and Dragon Soul, there's not really an end to. But even with me not finishing Nocturne, just the fact that it's something that I wonder what I would do if it happened in real life definitely gives that my number one spot. So if you guys haven't played these games and you have the chance, check them out. All really great games to play for anybody who enjoys RPGs. So check them out. Let me know what you guys have as your picks for the top. Again, Final Fantasy VII, number one for just about anybody. But if you want to leave a comment and discuss 7 and why it's so epic, I'm always happy to talk about Final Fantasy VII. And really, I'm happy talking about any game that I've played. Almost. You know what? My next video, I'm going to let you guys know which game it was that made me disagree with my PlayStation 3 enough to have it not working anymore. Because you guys definitely need an explanation on that one. All right, bye guys.